Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldritch Show. We're jamming out, rocking here. I'm Jason with Remax.
I'm Dawn with Remax Results.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo Home
This is
Mortgage.
our last segment. We've had a great few segments, and I just had a couple of ideas on the break. 2 tips for you. 2 more tips. Love giving tips.
You have good ideas, Jason.
Here's the tip. If you're thinking of selling your house and you want to sell it yourself, one, you're not getting the marketing. We know that. But here's what happens. What type of buyers, if this is a question for you, what type of buyers try to buy, or generally, this is all generalization as well, folks, so we're being general here. What type of buyers try to buy for sale by owners?
Cheap.
Whoa, Don, you nailed it. Cheapo. Mr.
I thought that was a bird down there.
Mr. and Mrs. Cheapo, or the
Yeah.
the investor. And you know what? The first thing that Mr. and Mrs. Cheapo come in because you're being cheap as well. So you have 2 cheapos trying to fight it out. It ain't going to end well.
Oh, boy.
Because here's what Cheapo 1 says. I'm too cheap to pay commission. I'm going to sell my house on my own. So then Cheapo 2 comes in and says, oh my gosh, they're not paying commission. Lop off 7% immediately because they're not paying commission.
Exactly.
Yep.
So here's the deal, folks. You're going to pay commission no matter what. You're either not going to pay it, but you're going to get a lower price and pay it, or you're going to pay it to a realtor. So if you're going to pay it either way, you might as well get something for it, which is getting someone on your side to help you. The other go ahead, John.
Well, here's the worst scenario. So, for sale by owner wants to sell, and you got a for sale by owner who wants to buy. The problem is the for sale by owner is not educated like Stephanie for how to qualify this and that. That's what a real estate agent does. Mm-hmm. So the problem is say for instance you go to sell the house to cheapo buyer. The problem is.
Oh, by the way, Don, and folks out there, we're not trying to offend you. I am El Cheapo as well. Like I am cheap.
You are.
People would call me frugal, cheap, whatever. But
You are king, El Cheapo.
but I still use attorneys. I still use professionals in the industry that I'm not an expert in, that I don't do daily.
I've
Yep.
heard
too.
buyers not perform. They go to the closing. They either don't show up, or they don't have enough money. They didn't qualify. Well, now what do? Oh, well, you just missed the market. So
Right.
what's that cost?
Yeah, because they didn't get
'Cause
like
you're cheap.
Here's the other thing.
Earnest money or collect it.
Who's going to do the sale? We go to a listing appointment. We're bringing 30 pages for you just to sell your home and put it on the market. Then you do a purchase agreement. You have another 30 pages or 20 to 30 pages. Okay, yeah, I'm going to find that online. I'm going to do that. Okay. So then you're going to either then read it all and become an expert in it, and then probably misconstrue some of it or misunderstand it because you don't do it all the time, or you have to hire an attorney. Or here's a better one yet. You're at for sale by owner. Someone comes to buy your home, and you know what? I talk to people that this happens to them, and they're like, "Well, I didn't have to do anything. The guy just came and he brought his contract, and it was all done for me."
Yeah.
You know what? If you talk to any attorney, talk to anybody who knows negotiations, he or she who brings the contract is going to win. If there's anything going wrong at all, that contract is in their favor. And no offense to builders or anybody out there, even when you get mortgages, it's their contract. It's going to be favored slightly to them. You can't deny that. So they're going to come. They have a contract, and then what happens is it falls through or something happens. This has just happened in Edina, and the guy says, they said, he screwed us. He screwed us. He royally screwed us. We signed a contract with him, and then he ended up not buying it. And I said, well, what happened? I said, didn't you get to keep any money or anything like that? No, because in his contract it said that he doesn't have to pay us anything if he doesn't buy it, and he gave himself a 6-month time period to make that decision and pull out if he wants to or not. I said, what?
Yeah.
If you had an agent or anybody on your side, you could never sign something like that.
Right.
I mean,
That's
But there's
ridiculous.
so much to know though, and
And everything changes constantly. It is ever changing.
Jason, I think, best described it. The orchestra. I'm part of the orchestra. Stephanie is. You guys are the conductor. And you make it happen. That's got to be worth something.
Well, all right.
There's nothing wrong with the word profit.
Or even the analogy I always say, like the doctor, I use this example with customers in explaining our team concept is, I had to have a knee surgery, a knee replacement surgery. Well, the orthopedic surgeon was the one who put it. He didn't cut open my knee. He didn't give me the anesthesia. He didn't put me in the gown. Nothing. He had all these people all along the way prepping and everything. He comes in, my knee's wide open. He comes in, whoop, puts in the replacement, does it. Walks out of the room, and somebody else stitches you up and follows you up and takes care of it. And that's kind of like with real estate. You can be involved and help out and do all the other things, but you really need that one expert to, like you said, facilitate. The surgeon will say, here's the process, what I need to get me here, and here's what needs to be happen afterwards. But he's the one contact.
So Stephanie, if you were cheap, you'd bring your own knee.
Yeah, I go to the scrapyard and get some titanium, but it's
and
the
your
same.
own stitcher.
And I think there's different
Bring your own
realtors.
It's the same in real estate.
With cutting costs or commissions, we get people all the time.
Oh my gosh,
Rocket Mortgage.
You got another story on that?
They want. Well, I just say.
I'll give you one on that one.
Well, I think one, like your customers are they're smart to comparison shop, but
you
really,
should compare. So we're not dissing research. We're not dissing Zillow. We're not. You should actually get informed as a buyer and as a seller. But here's the thing. Just like the highest price, when someone comes and tells you can get the highest price for your home, that isn't always correct. And then the other thing is the commission. If they're the lowest, there's a client that called me. They had to file a lawsuit to cancel their contract with their agent because guess what they found out? Their agent was listing the property for such a low commission that the only way the agent made any money is if he got the buyer himself to get the buyer side commission.
Right.
So, folks, when you pay commission, you're paying the buyer and the seller side usually if you're the seller. He was so low. So what was happening is people were inquiring in, agents were inquiring in. All of the units around her are selling except for hers, and it took like 4 months. And she started calling the agents then and saying, what's going on? Oh, so-and-so never got back to me. Yeah. We were actually going to write an offer, but we can't get a hold of him. He won't ever respond. So he was actually disincentivizing everybody other than himself and his own buyer. And this happens, folks. When you go with El Cheapo on the listing commission, you're going to get crappy service, and you're going to get
I've
some
heard
issues.
a lot of agents won't even show the house. A lot of the agents that
We're
I
not
know.
supposed to do that, but
No,
I
a
have
lot
had
of agents
do
that I know won't even bother because the commission rate is like $3.
Well, and the other thing is,
Well,
the person on the other end isn't going to do anything. So you're basically carrying the torch for the whole thing. But
well,
anyway.
the thing is, like I said, we don't get paid until the house closes. The same thing with lending. We don't get a salary for doing this. So it is our goal, obviously, to get the home sold or get the loan closed. But if I'm charging top dollar an agent, that means you're working hard for it. We don't get a paycheck
and you
at
should
the end of the
day.
day.
Yeah,
at 5
you
o'clock,
should be
we don't
working
get
hard.
to go
I mean,
home,
you
go to
should-
bed, and look at our bank. Look at our paycheck
How many
in the
times
bank.
have you shown somebody 50 houses?
Many.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, really.
But I want someone to get the house that they want. I've never
Yeah.
forced anybody to buy a house yet.
No.
And,
Yes.
and it also is tough when you end up writing for buyers. You're working a lot harder because you end up maybe losing out on
Multiple
a couple of them.
offers. Right.
Although
Yep.
that could be shifting now a little bit. We're seeing the shift. We're seeing a little bit of the shift going on. So if you're a seller and you truly, truly didn't sell your home or didn't make it didn't sell, and when you had it on in March, April, and May, call us. And we can help with that and do it right this time and get it sold before the end of the year.
What's your number,
Memorial
Jason?
Day. Our number for the radio station here for us is 651-400-0773, 651-400-0773.
And call in to get your pre-approval. Don't have to wait until you find the house. Get pre-approved now so that you are ready because you'll never know when that house is going to come on the market. So call me at 612-940-7335 and get started.
And even if you're thinking for next spring as a buyer, I call Stephanie and call it Wells and get
set up
prepared
ahead of time.
because you can put some process and steps into place over
And
the
if
winter.
you have storm damage, call Don Doty,
Actually, the easiest thing to do is just Google me, Don Doty.
D-O-T-Y.
Don Doty.
D-O-T.
Don Dottie. No, I was kidding. D-O-T-Y, Don Doty.
Good
Yo,
stuff.
Don.
Hey, we're the best experts in the industry. We had good experts, good information on the show today. Thanks, everybody.
Yes,
Yes,
thanks for
great
listening,
show.
folks. Have a great week. Remember, love yourself and love others. Bye.
Happy Sunday.
There's always something happening, and it's usually